revolution.
So, from what I gather, all the clowns are like having a bit of a bad time at the moment. Like, you've all lost your jobs, your finances are dwindling away, you're facing legal actions for your crimes, you can't bribe the new judge. You know, it's not like that old judge that you had who was part of the pedo club, you know, him and his bent coppers that he pays money to stalk me, you know, so they can like try and arrest us while you try to send chaos magic my way to like trigger me into an act of violence, shall we say, and flip out on the neighbours, and then this bent copper can just pull in and arrest us on whatever charge to lock us away so you can get away scot-free with fraud and deception. Yeah, well, I'm here to tell you that that's not going to happen, and that idiot judge will be disbarred, and those backward coppers who's on the payroll of this pedo judge will, you know, well, they won't be police anymore, and this idiot fucking doctor that you've got who forged all those documents to say that I'd actually been visiting him while he assessed me, well, like, this is a complete fabrication. So I apparently visited this doctor. Well, someone did. It certainly wasn't me. Certainly won't catch me on no CCTV coming in and out of the surgery at, you know, at certain intervals and times and dates. Anyone can write a time and date. Anyone can input any kind of fucking time and date into the system. But if you don't have the CCTV footage to prove it, or if you've been paying someone to impersonate me who doesn't look anything like me, or because you thought you were going to get like 150 grand payday, is that what the price was? 150 grand, was it? To forge documents to say that I was unwell or had an incurable STD, someone who I don't know the name of, who I've never been to the surgery for a checkup or anything like that since 2019, and that was before I went to China to teach English as a foreign language. So around about the summertime was the last time I went to the doctors, and it wasn't for no checkup, it was because I had a problem underneath my arm whereby it started off like an abscess, and then that burst, and then it just left a huge opening where there was just no skin, and I had to use patches to heal it up with like sort of like these inodine gauze patches that you had to put over the opening, and then put like a band-aid on over the top of that, and within time it healed up beautifully. You wouldn't even know that it was there, and that all happened before I travelled off to China to teach English as a foreign language. And that's the last time I ever visited the surgery in my village, and I've never been back since. So, and that was when there was completely different doctors there, not what we've got now, not the fucking idiots there now. There's like an idiot female that's constantly there, always wearing a fucking mask to hide her identity. Is that the barn owl? Is that who that is? Is that fucking idiot? Because she doesn't seem like a very good doctor, to be honest with you. No fucking, well, no personality, no charisma, no nothing. Just like a dead vessel of emptiness. You know, it smells of sellout. at any price. And considering there's a lot of females involved, part of Eastern Star Secret Society, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if that idiot Dr. Barnow was a part of it. But let's not forget Captain Nigeria. That's another one. I have no idea who he is. I'm not even going to try and butcher his fucking name, but it's a mouthful. There's that one as well. So there's definitely two involved that's easily bought, that's quite happily prepared to fabricate documents in order to receive a payday that you're never going to get, by the way. You don't have the money this skint. And the bank accounts now, I understand, have actually froze. So you froze out of that account that you've been sending different people to at different intervals to withdraw funds from the fake account that you set up in my name with the fake power of attorney, aided by that imbecile judge. And let's not forget, right? Let's not forget the fake birth certificate that you got, as well as the fake marriage that I've been entered into. In order for you to access his trust fund account, for you to siphon funds out of there into a fake bank account that you set up. A marriage, it's never been consumed, by the way, because it never happened in my world, because I was never there. The desperate lengths that you idiots have went to, or because, you know, you assured your pedo paymasters that I would be an easy lick, and then I would be taken care of, and it would be all done and over with this time last year. But like, your deadline's over, it's well over the mark, you know, and I'm still here, picture of health, you know, hatless for a change, you know, because it's a nice day. So I thought I'd come out, you know, do me hair for once, because normally I don't bother doing it because I've always got a cap on my head. But yeah, so I've been placed in a fraudulent marriage, let's not forget that. To that idiot from fucking Ukraine, who's here illegally, by the way, claiming to be my partner, living in a fucking house that you stole from me, trying to make out that I've got all kinds of mental health problems. This from a fucking idiot that I do not know, that I've never spoke to or spent any time whatsoever with. An idiot that couldn't even be bothered to talk because they thought that this idiot thought that I would chase after them somehow. You know, like if I approach you, right, and you just continue to ignore me, the last thing I'm going to do was chase after an ignorant fucking idiot that's got tits and a cock and a pair of balls because I found out you're a fucking tranny. So why the fuck would I want anything to do with an abomination like you that's quite adept at fucking fraud and deception? And I believe Interpol's looking for you as well, you Ukrainian tit. So you've been going around doing all this fraud, taking out business loans in my name, taking out bank loans in my name, right? But here's the thing, you're doing all this fraudulent shit, right? In the hopes of like pinning it all on me and setting me up so I would somehow end up in prison, or that I would find out about all this and act aggressively, you know, like the lies you've been trying to portray and the, you know, the energy you've been trying to project to make me out to be something that I'm not, that I would act out in a certain way and cause some kind of problem or inflict pain upon you, and that you had eschewed all these flying monkeys that you've been giving backhanders to and paying to keep quiet or spread lies because you paid them to do it. Because that lanky fucker from the village, Stalker Jones, this is what I can't understand. So this person has mental health issues and is on incapacity benefit, right? Which is approximately what? £88 a week, give or take. But this fucking idiot is able to, on incapacity benefit, is able to drive around in a brand new Mercedes. And she had this before she sold her yellow VW, because she was keeping it parked outside of her mother's house before it got sold drive around a brand new Mercedes. How does someone on incapacity benefit, right, afford a fucking Mercedes before selling the VW? Well, there's only one logical way, because you paid this fucker to try and approach us to be in a relationship with, and there's no way I would have anything to do with that fucking mental basket case, because she's never been right in the fucking head, never liked the cunt, always disliked her. So you've been paying this fucker not only to stalkers, because from never seeing them to always being in the vicinity, you know what I mean, tells me that this person was being paid by you two fucking idiots to stalk us, report back and try and get a relationship with us, to try and like get information out of us, because you've also got the fat cunt over the road in the bungalow with his fucking listening equipment that he never gets any information for you because I'm too busy fucking insulting him. Because there's another one you've got blackmailing, yet you're blackmailing all these people, but I believe they're blackmailing you now as the tables have turned. But like, you blackmailed him, you invited him to one of these sex swinger parties, whatever, right? Like, not only did you get him to interfere with a kid, you roofied him, right? You drugged his drink, right? And then you put him in some sort of gimp outfit with like stockings and suspenders, right? Right? With his ball gag in his mouth, right? Strapped to this wooden horse or whatever, to have him positioned in a way to have over 20 men park the bike up his dirt track, play hide the sausage for him to be a receiver of swollen goods, recorded it, and then when he came to, you showed him the footage, blackmailed him, give him a non-disclosure agreement form to sign, and like as if he to basically state if he ever said anything, right, that you would show this video of him not only nonsense a kid, but having his back passage ram raided by a train gang of men who potentially have an incurable STD, whether that's the human immunovirus or an autoimmune deficiency syndrome. That's HIV and AIDS, for those who don't know. Right, and this person has all kinds of childhood trauma issues, because this imbecile, there's nothing upstairs. This imbecile, right, is almost like, well, he will be 58 now, or he's approaching the age of 58, still dresses like a 7-year-old, as if he's got his combat gear on with his stupid tight hat. It's like he's got like bare lasses tights wrapped around his head and bunched up at the back, which goes down like in a ponytail, with his army gear on and your fingers like army gloves. Like, it just, as soon as I see him dressed like that, all I'm picturing, right, is a 7-year-old who's going out with his mates to play armies. You know what I mean? With his, like, why nowadays we just used to have a twig in the shape of a machine gun, or a smaller twig, like in the shape of a handgun. And you used to run around in the woods playing armies with your combat gear on and things like that. And you used to wear, like, fingerless combat gloves and stuff like that at the age of 7. So there's all kinds of fucking childhood trauma going on with this individual. And I can tell you now, he's not all there. He's not all there. That's why he was easy to get to, isn't it? That's why he was easily blackmailed, because he's got form. And not only is he in an incestuous relationship with his sister, who he pretends is his girlfriend. So, you know, ripe for the picking. But yeah, but going back to the Stalker Jones, like how, like, you know what I mean? This person's got mental health problems and is on incapacity benefit, right? Which is £88 a week. Maybe more now, who knows, maybe £90 a week, right? But in between that margin, can drive around in a brand new Mercedes, a white Mercedes. And this is before the resale of the yellow Beetle, the VW Beetle. How does someone on benefits manage to pay for a car like that? Well, I'm well aware that, like, family members on both sides have been, you know, bribed to stay silent. And, like, there's a large swathes of the community being bribed to stay silent. You know what I mean? So you've had, like, a substantial amount of money bribing people to keep quiet, which has now run out. And now you're being blackmailed. And there's people grassing on you left, right and centre. And whoever it is who is arrested now in prison, or they're singing like a canary. They're singing like a fucking canary. Singing like a canary. So it's only a matter of time now, and they've got all the evidence that they need, as well as like we are up to that part now on the timeline whereby they went on to Hitman's or Russ on the dark web and hired an undercover police officer. So we've reached that part now, haven't we? I do believe we have. I mean, I talked about this, was it a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, or getting up to 2 years ago. But yeah, you went on the dark web to Hitman's or Us, and you paid an undercover police officer to put a hit out on us. Well, what do you think's going to happen there? And not only that, you know, you were trying to get people to hack into my smartphone, because I basically took a large amount of apps off my phone now, including my Instagram. Sometimes I'll install it and log in and have a quick check, then just uninstall the app again, because my phone never heats up now. Well, once upon a time it was always heating up, so I was just deleting all kinds of apps, because, you know, as you do a bit of research, and the less apps you have on your phone, the harder it is to hack into your smartphone. Not that it's impossible, but, you know, it makes it a lot more difficult. And obviously changing emails, addresses and things like that, so you don't have them anymore, which also makes it a little bit difficult. But yeah, you've like ran out of hackers, and are we up to that part now where they paid an undercover police officer to hack my phone, which isn't going to happen, by the way. So what do you think's going to happen there? And on top of all the fraud, yes, that's what I was talking about as well. Sorry. So yes, so if you're going to take out a business loan, a bank loan, right, and like doing all kinds of fraud, like taking credit cards out of my name, using dodgy bank managers to authorize all of this, right? And the goal obviously is to set me up, frame us, so I get arrested for fraud and deception and things like that. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, I'm just going to save it at the moment. So yeah, that you had a plan, right, and you executed that plan, and in your small minds you thought that you had it in the bag, and that you've done all this fraud, all this, you know what I mean, credit card fraud, bank loans, business loans, things like that, right? It's just like, yeah, we've got the fucker. But there's just well, how can I put it? It's a superfluously executed plan with one major drawback to that. I could have done it in Crichton's voice, but I don't think not too many people understand Red Dwarf. But a superfluous suggestion. But yes, so a superfluous plan of attack with one major drawback, and that drawback is that you, for the business loan and the bank loan, you paid that money right into your own accounts. Just let that sink in for a moment. Just let that sink in. So you got that money right, and then you paid it into your own personal bank accounts, right? Now, had you have paid it into my bank account, it would have failed anyway, because I would have been made aware of that, and I would have like wanted to know how this came about, and then I would have uncovered that, in fact, fraud, deception had been committed. But no, so that wouldn't have worked. Yes, so you thought, well, yeah, we'll do all this kind of fraud, and then have all the spoils paid into your own personal bank account. And if that is the case, right, how do you think that would have led back to me? Because once these banks and what have you were alerted to the fact of that deception, they would then trace where the funds went and to whose bank account it went into. And lo and behold, the bank account it went into was your own personal bank account. And then from there, there's a whole list of items you will have purchased with that money, which will not have been in conjunction with a business loan, or regardless of the personal loan. But then there'll be large amounts of money being paid out to individuals, whether that's by cash, or direct transfer into other people's accounts. Or if you did pay cash, I know you paid cash to a lot of people, they will have paid that money into their personal bank accounts. And a lot of these people that you paid are all on fucking benefits. Right? And so then what will then happen, it will then prompt the investigative team to question these individuals who are on benefits. They would question them and want to know why they had such an amount of money. Where did it come from? You know what I mean? And then like sort of like, how does someone on incapacity benefit, right, manage to buy a Mercedes? And this was bought before the sale of the VW, and so they'll have the dates of the purchase of the Mercedes, right? And then you'll probably have the date of the sale of the VW as well, and the amount when it was paid into that account, if it did in fact go into that account. Because one thing is, when purchasing a car nowadays, you can't just buy it all in cash. It has to go through the bank so they know what it is you're spending. And I mean, I know this especially because I've banked with Barclays Bank. And if you want to draw out a large amount from that account, you will be grilled as if you were being interrogated by the Gestapo. And it's not only Barclays, Santander do exactly the same thing. And so, regardless of how much amounts is being paid to who and what, where and what have you, it's all traceable. And especially if you're paying that money into your bank accounts and then purchasing lots of random items online, you know what I mean? And considering that you're all on benefits, well, the vast majority are on benefits, shouldn't be having that amount of money anyway without claiming, or you know what I mean, or, what is it? Claiming that you have this amount, and if that is true, then you would lose benefits. So do you see what's going to happen when this all carries out? When this investigations like come so close, and all investigations have been conducted, and all people have been interviewed, because they know about all the transfers, they know about all the payments. There's things that I know that I won't go into too much detail about, but like, you should really be careful about what you say and who you say it to, or who's listening to what you're saying. And even if you do no longer use social media or encrypted messaging services, because let's face it, if you think your encrypted message services are safe from the GCHQ, which is the digital spy network, and their team of hackers, you would be mistaken. And if it is brought to their attention what you're doing, because it's not only inheritances that you're stealing from me and other people, which has been going on for quite some time now, and especially that pedo judge, I mean, just dipping in to his history, I'm sure will yield results of all kinds of bribery, all kinds of fraud, and all kinds of abuse of powers in itself. And I'm sure there's quite a record and quite a history once you do start delving in to that prick's history, whether it be man or woman, whether it's a Freemason or an Eastern Star, they all fucking into Lucifer worship and paedophilia. So, and no doubt the 2 coppers he's got on the payroll will be part of the pedo club, and they themselves will be, in fact, nonsense. But yeah, so you're all struggling now, and you've all got like you're saying that I have suffered from alcoholism and drug abuse and prostitution and things like that. Only it's not been proven to be factual, the disinformation you've been providing to the team of detectives who've been, you know, had their heads so far up my ass they're touching the back of my fucking teeth when it comes to the cavity search. And they've observed and they've watched and they've observed and they've watched and they've watched and observed my patterns, and it's quite repetitive. I like going out for walks or bike rides or go shopping. I like going into Durham to walk around the river because it's a nice walk and it's only cheap to get on the bus. It's like £2.50 now one way and £2.50 back. You know, whew, last of the big fucking spenders. And it's just nice walking around the river. It's just a nice trail, you know. And occasionally I might pop up to Newcastle, but not very often, because I like to have a walk along the River Tyne. And just, well, Newcastle itself is just a beautiful place. It's all the old Georgian architecture and things like that. And, you know, it's a friendly place. But by and large, I'm not doing anything that you've said that I am. And don't want to be a broken record, but yeah, once they turned the tables on you and started investigating you, they found that you were doing exactly the things that you tried to accuse me of. And it's not going in your favour. I mean, from what I gather, there's lots of people dying around you. There's lots of people who've got incurable STDs. There's lots of people who've got cancer, brain tumours. I'm forgetting what you call that, but like bad breathing. Forgetting the name of it now. And you know, it's just not looking good at all. And then all your plans are just falling apart. And I'm just finding out more and more things about what you've been doing. I mean, a lot of this I've been made aware of almost 3 years ago now. But sometimes when you get this information, it's ahead of the curve, it's ahead of the timeline. And so when you talk about it, if it hasn't happened yet, you can be looked at as like crazy until it starts happening, and then you're looked at like some kind of a prophet who foresees these things happening before the time and the event occurs. But I just thought I'll come off for a quick one. You know what I mean? I might get on for another one a little bit later, but yeah, it's just all falling apart now. All your lies have been uncovered. Everyone's starting to know now. And before long, all your faces will be plastered all over the internet. And you'll all are heading towards dark times. And everyone's going to love you in prison. The torment and the torture that you're going to receive from the prison inmates when they find out about who you are and what you've done. Every single one of you. Oh yes, yes. And don't you worry, you will all be made examples of. And no, I will not be making any kind of settlements out of court. I will be taking you all to court. And I will be seeing it out until the end. And I will bankrupt every single fucking last one of us who took part in this fucking diabolical plan. This unnecessary plan, all for the sake of fucking money. And with that money, I'm going to fucking help people. I'm going to become a humanitarian. And I'm going to make the world a better place. And I'm going to help the fucking needy. Because I couldn't give a fuck about your reputation or your standing in the community. And if you think you're going to get me to sign a non-disclosure agreement and a settlement outside of court just so you can walk back into your fucking lifestyle to repeat the same process again, you would be very much fucking mistaken. I'm here to make sure that you are all made an example of and to stop this bullshit from happening again. After this is finished, laws will be fucking changed. After this is finished, there will be lots of fucking changes occurring to where this fucking shit, this chicanery, this fucking what's the fucking word? But like this fucking tomfoolery, this fucking farcical bullshit from fucking idiots who shouldn't be in the position that they're in the first place will be put to a fucking end. And you will all be made an example of. And I will make sure that you're all made a fucking example of, because this won't happen. So if any of you staff cunts think you can send me a letter and invite me here and invite me there to try and fucking get me sat around the table with a bunch of fucking pedos to try and help you out, when you couldn't give a fuck about me, because all you did was just looking about the fucking money, fuck me, or how it would affect me and my fucking life, well, fuck you. I don't give a fuck about you, or your life, or your fucking reputation. Because you need to be knocked off your fucking perch. You need to be put into a fucking prison cell, and you need to be fucking tortured for the rest of your life for the fucking heinous crimes that all you dirty cunts committed. And I'm here to make sure that that fucking becomes a reality. Okay? Alright then. Just thought I'd get that one out. But yeah, other than that, I'll be back later for another one. See you later.